Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. Sorry about that. I was on and then the computer got glitchy. I feel like there is a vortex that is trying to stop me. You ever feel like that? You feel like you're in gum, and I feel like when you have that energy of like almost like you're trying to run and you're not getting anywhere, that's the energy, and it becomes heavy energy, and it's almost like the more that I get into my Christian studies, the more that I study about it, like the spiritual warfare that's happening, and getting the tools to fight that spiritual warfare, the more that I feel like this energy is like trying to stop me. And I know that that sounds crazy, but spiritual warfare plays out within our mind. It doesn't just play out collectively, but it plays out within our mind. And that's what takes us down. So the readings that I do are in alignment with obviously healing the effects of trauma. And the reason why is because trauma creates detachment and disassociation. And when we are detached, we have fragmentation. And when there's fragmentation, we attract negative spirits. So negative spirits create strongholds. So what does that look like? Well, it plays out within our relationships. It plays out within our everyday life experiences. So what I wanted to look at first was what's best for you, even before looking at the relationship. We're moving into 2026. What should you look at? What should you expect? Yes, we'll look at the relationship, but understand if you're not happy where you are, it's not uncommon to see the relationships are gonna also have like that energy, because you can only attract what you are. Now, that doesn't mean that you're toxic if you're attracting a toxic person, but fragmented means fragmented. Unfortunately, there's only two energies, love and fear. So you could just be like, well, I don't really know who I am, and be connected to a person that doesn't like who they are, right? And so a person that doesn't like who they are is going to have a lot of habits and behaviorisms that are sabotaging, and so you see it. So that's why we want to look at you first. What should you look at? I'm going to pull from the empowering deck first. We're not even going to look at the underlining energies first. We're going to do this completely different today because it's a new year. New year, new you. Ho, ho, ho. When people used to say that, it's like, shut the fuck up. All right. Take your power back by claiming full responsibility for your life. So this is the things that you need to look at for this year. So we're going to see. And just stay, because we don't know where this is actually going. Being grateful for life experiences, one of the keys to attaining inner peace. And I'm going to pull one more just from this deck. And then I'm going to tell you, there is no one like you anywhere in the omni universe. So, first of all, I feel like for a long time you've undervalued yourself and you don't know it. And I say that because when he says take your power back, like there's no one like you. You are a powerful being. You are a creator. You are not here by mistake. You're here by God's glorious design. You have purpose. And I feel like you know that. You know that. People are not going to like it. People are going to be intimidated. You're going to wake up a lot of people's, you know, their evils, their monsters, their spiritual blocks. Because when you're someone that's standing in your truth, saying like I know that I'm a real person. I know that I am going to like do big things. If you want to do big things, I feel like a lot of you guys are trying to be coaches or spiritual people or out in the community, influencers, just trying to create something for yourself that also creates an influence and impact on society. It's not uncommon for a Scorpio. People tend to think that that's a very Virgo-y trait. It's actually a very Scorpio trait, because when Scorpios love something and they believe in something, they're unstoppable. And the thing is, Scorpio is going to give and they're going to give and they're going to give and they're going to give until they sting you. Like they get to a point where, you know what, fuck you. You're going to see a different side of me. And that spirit says it's time to step into that power a little bit. It's again because you deserve it, because you're being surrounded by people that don't want to value you. And it's all about how you value yourself. You teach people by what you'll tolerate, by how much you give. And spirit says, and you know what? It's easy to look around and be like, well, people are fucked up. It's like, and I wouldn't do that. And to begin to like judge other people and to get negative. But then that takes us away from our goals, right? That we don't want to be holding on to negative energy. We're an energy being. And the way that we co create with God and the universe is through the thoughts that we think, the emotions that we have. That's what makes us take action. And so, Spirit saying it's like, so try to be grateful for even the smallest things right now, because you might be like, there's no money coming in, or there's not, like, whatever the perception is. And the perception, you might be keep seeing like the same karmic theme, and it's a time of clearing, and it's usually one that contradicts the fact that hey, like, there's no separation between you and God, and that it's time that this year, if you want change, that it's going to feel uncomfortable. Healing doesn't feel good, especially if you tend to be someone that's like, well, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I tend to, spirit saying, it's like, no, it's time to walk into the room, like knowing who you are. And it's going to feel uncomfortable. Like, well, oh, who the hell do I think I am? But it's spirit saying you were taught not to value yourself. You were taught again. So there's a part of you that is not going to feel comfortable. And so understand, when you're humble like that, and when you're pure like that, people tend to view you as something that you're not. And that's why Spirit says it's time for people to wake up. It's time for you to wake up. So that's for the year. And that it's okay to say no, like boundaries. So people are going to come into your life and they're going to want to take your time, your energy, your focus, and your money. And if you're like a people pleaser, and that's normally how you get like your love, your emotional fulfillment, spirit saying like you have to teach people. So not just walking into the room, but also setting boundaries. Like, no, I can't do that, or no, I won't. Not just, oh, whatever's easiest. Oh, like I want to be a people pleaser. Like, you don't at this time. And you might say, well, I've changed that a little bit, but people tend to like to push to be like, well, this is who I remember you to be. And I kind of feel like I can get you to still do that, even if you're like, I'm not that person anymore. So it's just something, again, about boundaries. And don't underestimate your ability to solve your own problems. So you might have been somebody that always asked for like opinion, like your best friend, you ask everything. And what you're noticing is a disrespect even from that friend. You don't really like the way that they're treating you. And it's because people get cocky. So even if you're like, well, we just always talk and we bounce things, spirit saying, don't. People will act as if you owe them something when you don't owe them anything. It's again making you come from a place of, well, I should be grateful. The spirit says, no, walk into the room like you own it. It's again, but still be humble, still be nice. But it's a self-respect thing. And so that you don't need to ask anyone what to do. The answers are inside of you. But when you're around people that are going to disrespect you, you're going to like where you'll settle for less, right? So if you're telling your friend every little thing, and some of those things, eventually what Spirit's saying is you're going to see that person is going to like either expect something or use it against you or do something, where Spirit's saying it's like where this is what causes trust issues. that there's trust issues, when we're not coming from a whole balanced place. You have to show people that you can really live without them at this point. And that's kind of like a mean thing. Like, who wants to do that? But Spirit says you have to. You have to. Take a moment to consider the things that you don't like about yourself with love and compassion. So it's again, why? You have to say, why? Why do I overgive? Why do I care so much about what other people think, or why I give so many like people so much power over me, is what Spirit is saying. And this is to change the things for 2026. If you want to know like how to stop those karmic cycles. And you might say, what are the karmic cycles? Well, when I said I would look into what is going on for 2026, we're always going to look at the wounds first, because you're the creator of your life. So, you can wind up in a relationship with someone that it starts off great and then doesn't. And then it's like you're still living that karmic theme. So if you're paying attention to what I'm saying, or you need to rewind to listen to this part might seem boring to you, but this is where your healing is. Because you will want to change certain things, is what Spirit is saying. And I knew that karmic blockages, and the karmic blockages show as repeating patterns. And that's what makes a person feel stuck. That's what makes a person like feel like they're struggling, and that there's conflict, and it's just unhealed emotional wounds that follow them across lifetime. So lifetime can be like from your childhood, and then your adolescence, and then your adulthood. We live many lifetimes in one lifetime. But we also were born into families that were going to awaken the blockages that we had from a previous life. And people don't believe in past life. Listen, you would never learn that you're not separate from your creator in one lifetime. We make the same mistakes 100 times in one lifetime. To be all knowing means that I need to live as a man, I need to live as a woman, I need to live as like all things, because God is all knowing. There's no separation. When Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, we had to learn through pain and suffering. So here we are in the physical plane, living life experiences that keep us stuck many times in these karmic blockages of reliving the same negative experiences, a karmic theme, which makes you feel not good enough, not having enough, not loved, again, separate from your creator, where there is no separation. That's why Adam and Eve, again, are down. We're descendants, and we live our life experiences. There's many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness is really determined by the experiences that you live until you integrate the spiritual lesson, which again tells us the karmic blockages. So that karmic block could be, I feel like no one likes me. I feel like I'm always alone. I feel like I'm not worthy. I feel like I'm not loved. I feel like, so these energies are like their perceptions. Are they really what you are? No, there's no separation from you and the universe, you and God, which that energy is unconditional love. That's the energy that we connect to on a psychic level. It doesn't logically make sense. It's like, well, I just feel it. It's like, again, that there's a whole energy. And when that energy is not flowing, it needs to be able to flow through us, to work through us, as well as our environment. But if we're blocked, it's not going to be. And so being around, again, people that gaslight, that make you feel less than, that make you feel a certain way about yourself, where Spirit says you have discernment. You can tell when that's happening. So if you want to change certain things for 2026, you're going to have to leave some people behind, is what Spirit's saying. People that make you question your worth, people that like to challenge you, because they want to keep you stuck in that mindset. That's what spiritual warfare is, by the way. If you don't know, that you have spiritual sovereignty, that you are the creator and the alchemist of your life, that you can create whatever experience that you want if there's many different realities. But people will want to keep you stuck in a reality that's painful, but they don't have power over you, is Spirit saying. But they will have power over you if you continue to do the same things to create that karmic blockage. And it starts with the people, certain people that are around you that just want to make you feel, again, it's an envy. It's like people are envious of you, and you'll be like, for what? It's like, for what? My life. It's like, if I get any little thing, they're like jealous. Yes, because again, there was issues where feelings of, growing up with someone that was always jealous, someone that was full of resentment, it's someone that always compared their life. So growing up with a mother that was never happy, or a father that was never happy, or a sister that was never happy, a sibling that was always looking in everyone else's garden. And so anytime you got something, you felt like that person would sabotage it. They would downplay it. They would, again, make you feel not worthy, like a lack of feeling self-worth when you're around that over time, over time, over time. And people can do it by, let's just say you have a great accomplishment, and it could be, hey, I got into the band, I don't know, or orchestra, and like that person didn't acknowledge it. Again, people gaslight to make you feel a certain way. So it's like, listen to your discernment, listen, watch who can actually clap for you, look around and see who has that backhanded compliment. And this is not to be like, oh my God, I need to be scared, because it's not. It's like, what you're doing is you're having discernment before something big happens in your life, is what Spirit's saying. Spirit's saying, hey, things are going to happen in your life. The issue is not that. The issue is that there's karmic blockages. We want to know what's going on for 2026. And really, Spirit's saying you have some friends that really aren't friends. You have certain people around you, and it's due to, like, again, needing to learn a lesson. And that lesson is usually about self-love. Let's see. We will just pick two, and then we'll actually see what I see for you guys before we look into the relationship. Okay, suppression. Again, being around somebody that gaslights, again, downplays who you are, makes you feel less than, makes you feel that energy, and it was traumatic. There's a lot of cards here, okay? It's like it was considered trauma to you. Now, is it something that you're conscious of? No. It's suppressed energy. Suppressed energy means it's been there for so long, I don't even think about it, but it's come now where I have trust issues. And so that trust, we see what we look for, but your intuition is highly sensitive to that because of how you grew up. So part of you needs to listen, even if you don't like what you are being told, and to watch how much you're sharing with people, because people then, are treating you through their perception, when really you don't need anything outside of you to look for the answers, because then people think, oh, and now you owe me. They'll try and gaslight you, when really Spirit's saying is, it's time that you know your worth. It's like, you can have whatever it is that you want, but that was the karmic blockage that continues to play out. When we look and see what's gonna happen, I'm just gonna pull a few tarot, and then we'll jump right on in. I believe, again, the Holy Spirit works through my tarot cards. I don't know whether that does anything, but I am a Christian. But, I believe that, the answers are inside of us, and that we can use tools to find out what those answers are. Spirit says, again, it's a time, again, like where you might be feeling like nothing's happening. And Spirit says that you're in Hermit time, because that's a place of protection, first of all. keeps you kind of by yourself. Is second of all, it's a time of the answers are inside of you. So knowing what to do, you're being navigated, and that's when you're having a strong relationship kind of with God, because through intuition and that inner knowing is what's guiding you. The spirit says, and it came out as Forest Cups reversed. And so this is a card that's normally about opening up. I feel like it's not a time of opening up. It's a time of discernment. Now it keeps coming up with that, but Two of Pentacles, like I feel like within work or job, like you might be offered like a lot of different things in the coming year and having a difficulty making a commitment on what it is. And that could be, again, a lot of times you have anxiety, you think you need to know before you actually know. Spirit saying is like, give it the time. I would say open up in that area, right? Open up where it's about trying and finding yourself and feeling good about yourself. It'll actually pay, it'll also is going to help buffer a time, because like I said, I just feel like there's a person around you, and I hate to keep repeating myself, that you can't trust. And so, it'll be the buffer, because it's like you'll already know the painful truth. But the thing is, if your mind and you're interactive in your life, it's like you're gonna rise above it. You're not even gonna feel it. It's again that you're gonna move right into freedom. Now I'm feeling, again, just a lot of changes within this year, but pop like positive changes. Like year is all about kind of healing a lot of the spiritual blockages, and that's kind of like cleaning house. And it's a quiet time of reflection, of trying to figure out where you want to go, your goals, and that's pretty much what I see happening within your life. And because you are trying to like break those karmic blockages. Now, when we look at your relationship, I want to see like, well, let's start with like, well, what does this person think? What are they going to do? What is they like completely different energy? For 2026, what is this person's intention? If there's a lot of blockages, is it even possible to heal? To create balance where you'd be happy? Sometimes, yes, believe it or not. Sometimes it's all dependent on how we are going to show up within the relationship. Okay, I feel abandoned by you, and it's triggering my childhood traumas. So you'd be like, you feel triggered, and where I feel like you're not putting up with it. I just told you, you're in a place of the hermit, you're in a place of healing. You're like there's certain people in your life that you're not putting up with. And if somebody is not coming up and showing up for you in the way that they need to, well, you're not doing it because you're trying to create something within your life, like some sort of stability, happiness. Happy New Year, nature. So again, the fact that you are someone that actually cut your energy off, where I don't think that this person ever thought that that would happen. Oh, I messed up, I know. I wish I could have leisure coffee with you, where it's almost like this person is like, I miss our friendship. I miss the way that you used to talk to me. I miss the fact that you were real, you were genuine, you were fun, you didn't have any expectation of me, that I didn't need to do anything for you. It's like you were almost too easy, too nice. Hey, you see how your reading started, where Spirit said, yeah, it was that energy of just too nice and, undervaluing yourself and teaching people again that you don't really value you, because again, you were never taught to walk into the room and act like you own it and like confidence. So what happens is you pull people to you that are sometimes not nice. And I feel like this person wasn't nice, you know. They've been in their head about you, and that's because, hey, you don't know what you got till it's gone. It's like this person undervalued you. It's like, and now, like, again, they're thinking about it, but I don't know why they're thinking about it. We need to definitely find out, um, especially if a person wasn't. Let's see what else we see here. It's too difficult for me to process my emotions with this situation. Yeah, so there's someone that tends to, like, obviously not deal with emotions at all. Someone that and wanted to keep the surface, wanted to treat you a certain way, and now that they see how they treated you, they feel really bad. And the thing is, they wouldn't care if they didn't have feelings for you. But what they're seeing is, oh, I really have feelings for you because you were like a real person, meaning, like, not phony, didn't want anything from me. Again, there was a true connection, and now I'm like afraid to contact you because they don't want to hear that it's the end. They self-sabotage themselves. They got in their own way, and that's what they know. They know that they messed up everything. um, they had this epiphany again that really all that you really wanted was some sort of loyalty, and a loyalty as in friendship, as in, like, I treat you the way that you treat me. You didn't do that. You kind of, like, it was a one-sided relationship. You didn't give a shit. And now they're feeling bad about it because, like I said, there was a spiritual connection. We knew that already. And they just feel so much love for you. But like I said, why? It's, again, they're obsessive. So if you want to know where they are, they can't stop thinking about it. They feel guilty about it. Because what it is you don't care. You don't care. You're like, is what I see. I see you're like, again, in your hermit energy, just being like, well, I'm healing myself. I'm like doing what I need to do for myself, and I don't really care. But what I do know is that there's people around me that I need to question whether or not they're even deserving it to be in my life. And that's, like I said, why I feel like you're really in that hermit mode, because people are envious of you. But if you don't know your worth, you're going to be like, what did I do? Or you're going to be like, well, I don't want to step on their toes. When really it's like, listen, Spirit says, you better shine that light. You better. Otherwise, you're going to go right back into that karmic cycle of people not valuing you, that people are not, and then making you feel like that there's something wrong with you. When meanwhile, there's nothing. They don't want to let it go. They didn't really want to let it go when they let it go, and that's really what it is. I'm sorry for all the pain that I've caused. So this is where they are. When I say again, well, are they ever going to do anything? Are they going to get off their ass and do anything? Or are they just going to be sorry forever? I mean, not that you have to take this person back, but I feel like people are really sorry when they come back and they apologize. Otherwise, you didn't surrender your ego. How sorry are you? It's like where's the change? Is there? Well, there will be communication, okay? And because this person wants to alleviate their suffering. You see, they want to alleviate their suffering, and so because that's really what it is, because they don't feel good. And they are going to make a declaration of it, like expressing their truth. And part of it's going to be, again, that they do want a new beginning. But that's, again, we say, why? Where was the epiphany? And so what is it? It's like, and they realized it. It's happening soon. So just know that this person's going to come back soon. And it's really, I think, because there's a part of you that's accomplished, that they see you differently, that you're self-reliant for one reason or another. They might have been had the impression like you would have needed, like you would have been needy or would have needed too much from them. And there's just a part of them that like wants to explore, like it just wants to, so they're gonna make contact, I'm telling you. Um, and it's again because there's just this spiritual, energy. So the person cannot stop thinking about you, and they just feel like this, like the relationship is divine. Like it's they can't really, it doesn't logically make sense to them. They just feel like there's a connection. I can feel that there's a connection. I undervalued that connection. I looked at you for what you showed me, and you showed me someone that was too nice, too giving, someone that they perceived didn't know their worth. And in the fact that they didn't value you, they treated you the way that you were kind of treating yourself. And Spirit says you kind of do that a lot, to the point that there's these other people over there that you actually have to watch out now for. Because again, they got used to seeing you like beneath them. So again, you having great experiences are going to waken up their demons, and they're going to be envious. Like, why should you have that? You get a little too much attention. So Spirit says you already know what it is. This person is not that. They will just like, I don't think that I don't think that they will like, oh, I want to ruin your life. I just feel like they, you know, didn't see things clearly. They didn't have discernment, and where now there was this inner knowing that you're they're supposed to be. It doesn't logically make sense, but they just know that they're in regret. And so when they say why, well, that's the reason why. The spiritual pull, that they're stuck in regret. They want to alleviate their pain and suffering. Because, it's not even about you. They're stuck in guilt. They're stuck in shame. They can't like keep the energy like this because you're like, I don't care. How do you like that? I really don't give a fuck. I'm over here like in my hermit mode, enjoying my life, minding my own business, and people are going to have a problem with me. And Spirit says, yes, because you showed them that, hey, you were going to be so available, so nice, so giving, so this. And Spirit says, that's why your reading began the way that it did. We need you to walk into the room like you own the place. It's like, again, and it's going to feel wrong, but and understand you doing that because you're not somebody that's, oh, look at me. Like you'll be coming in the correct way instead of like, oh, I'm so happy that I'm here. Like, what else can I do for you? Like Spirit's like, no. It's like it's time to change that karmic pattern because it creates a lot of problems. And man, you would think, why would it awaken envy wounds? Because again, I'm perceiving you as less than me. So why should you have all that? Why should you have that good opportunity? Why should you get that? Why should you, when you're like, okay, I never get anything. And Spirit says, yeah, and that's the way some people would like for it to stay because it makes them feel superior. Again, you're not dealing with people all on the same vibration, but you always get what you need to heal. And what Spirit's saying is it's time to like, again, rise above it. Let go of who you were and become who you need to be. Let go of the past. You might have needed to, walk so humbly so that you wouldn't step on mommy's toes or daddy's toes or sister's toes or brother's toes. And Spirit says, not anymore. It's like it's time again to realize that all experiences, good or bad, are there to help shape you, to mold you. And it's through the painful ones and the hard ones that really are what's growing you. You like, again, transform the fire per se, right? And Spirit says it's all about learning how to love yourself. And part of that is to release the negative beliefs that you were taught about yourself And that could have been by how a person treated you, how they act. And Spirit says, no, this is about you having the wisdom to move on to brighter horizons. And that only will happen when you, again, showed fierce strength. Again, you don't need to raise your voice. It's about not overreacting, not explaining, not, again, it's boundaries and putting your time and your energy towards creating yourself. That's it. You're in the hermit mode. It's a protective spot. And it's just because Spirit's saying, like you're about to manifest, and, that awakens people's negative energy. This person wants to come back, I got to make it a little bit difficult for them to come back because they don't just get to come back. And those people, I need them to stay away from you. And you need to, again, learn, why are you in this timeout zone? Well, you're in this timeout zone because you've done the healing work, but you still didn't learn that, you have to change again. And that's, again, by coming from a place of truth about yourself, loving yourself, and having, like, again, unshakable faith, and understand then you're going to attract the right people into your life. Release control, understand it's going to feel uncomfortable while you go through this transition, because people are going to be falling out of your life. Life is going to shift and it's going to change. And Spirit says, keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the prize. Be the hermit. Protect yourself. It's, again, time for reflection, time to get strong with your relationship with God, and get clear about your things. And don't make it so easy for this person to come back. They should suffer a little bit, God's saying. It's like, yeah, they need to suffer because that's how they learn. It's, again, you can't just roll out the red carpet and say, oh, well, that was great. Let me just... No. I will not be available until possibly a week or two down the line because I'm busy in my life, is what Spirit's saying, because I'm busy in my life. You'll have to take a number, like you're at the line at the delicatessen, because I have other things going on. So you'll have to wait. And Spirit says it's all about you learning how to flow, go with the flow with grace. And that's, and we have to first start by, seeing beyond the illusion, know who the hell you are, and know that you're divinely protected. That's it. Spirit says that's it. So, because other people might be always the people that come into your life that you're like, I don't know, they come into my life and they fuck up my life for no reason. And Spirit's saying there's a reason. And it's because you're not strong within yourself. So that's why you're in this timeout. That's why you're, again, able to create, and things are going to happen. That's why you're protected. But understand, you have to go out into the world again, God says, and you're you're in physical form to learn and to manifest. So what are you going to go out into the world and do the same thing when finally after you manifest? You'll teach a person to take advantage of everything that you have. Spirit's saying no, it's about knowing who you are, and understand healing doesn't feel good. So you kind of have to fake it till you make it a little bit. And that's, be around other people that, hold themselves to a certain standard. And that's really what you're doing, Spirit's saying. It's like you were never taught to value yourself, to love and value yourself. Now, I never even pulled from our inner child wound cards. I read that the reading was kind of all over the place. So let's see what the inner child wounds were. And to see, and Spirit says, well, frustration, abuse, neglect, gifts. Well, that happens. You do get gifts, by the way. Like when you're abused, again, the child that survives thrives. It's just what happens. It's because through the imagination, the kingdom of heaven's inside of you. If you can imagine it, you can create it. So Spirit's saying, remember, it's all about the grounding. If you were abused growing up, understand we see what we look for. You might still have a little hypervigilance where you're like, I go into situations and I just can't help. And the spirit's saying, yeah, you need to again, like train your nervous system and again, be present, be in the moment, practice mindful meditation. In the now, only in the now, in the now, in the moment, and not tapping into other people's feelings and emotions. That's a survival mechanism, by the way, but it's going to be one that sabotages you, because then if you're reading, that's when you'll be like, well, that's when I tend to overgive. That's when I tend to, and spirit says, yeah, yeah, that needs to like stop. It's like your connection to source is your connection to your gifts. And though your psychic ability is a gift, it will also be a curse if you, again, are tapping into other people, because you're not going to like what you feel. Because people are going to have a lot of different feelings. They're allowed to have their feelings, God says. Let them have their feelings. But focus more on you. Get strong in you. Don't care what they think. Don't care about that. The focus is on what you're doing, where you're going, why are you actually interactive in life. That's it. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about anything except for, do we have a common interest in where, like, can you help me? Can I help you? That's it, Spirit says. Nothing else. Relationships happen over time. Trust is something that happens over time, Spirit says, and you can't rush that. And so when you're finding yourself and it's new, you're going to be tapped into different people. And again, don't try to read them. It'll just make you overwhelmed. It's again, well, did I do this right? Did I do that wrong? It's spirit says you can't. It's all like just from how you grew up. And that is why it's a big deal, because you're breaking karmic cycles. Like I said, you're breaking like karmic blockage. And that is, I grew up in an environment where I was abused, made to feel like I was less than, had to be hyper vigilant. I didn't trust the environment. There was betrayal. And what happens is you're going out into the world, you're trying to focus, and now other people, and that's why Spirit says, I'm going to put you in a timeout, because it's like you've been doing the work, but you're like, I'm not seeing results. And Spirit says it's gonna happen. Don't do my job. Do your job. Well, again, I'm like, focus on other people. Spirit says, don't focus on you. Focus on what you're doing. No one can stop you. You're protected. You have the guardian angel card. Literally, we pulled it. Spirit says you're divinely protected. Only you can stop you. No one can stop you. No one can take what's yours. Only you can, by how you react. So remember, there's certain people that may want you to react. It's again, don't. Spirit says, keep your eye on the prize. It's again, and know that nothing is permanent. You're protected. So everything turns to light. Spirit says everything on your path is there to help you improve yourself, to embrace that light brings to you and transforms your darkness into light, to you allow yourself to grow and become stronger. That's why Spirit says it's again, there was a sense of you feeling very weak because you grew up in that type of an environment where Spirit says you're not weak, you're strong. It's that you went through that. People are actually intimidated by your strength. You don't think that you're strong because you grew up in that type of environment and people are like that. So Spirit says, so that's why you're getting the spiritual lesson, so that you can transform it. And we'll pull just one more, which is vitality. That you're a being of light, accept the divine energy in your body, and every one of your cell regenerates. You're actually clearing spiritual blockages, and spiritual blockages that are held in the mind are held in the body as stress, because your mind is your body's faithful servant. So when you're clearing those blockages, that chi, which is also known as God, spirit, right? Because that's what gives us life, the air, the oxygen, well, spirit. If you look, the word breath in Latin is spirit. It's what gives us life, and it allows us to flow through us, to work through us. And that's what gives us vitality. And spirit says, so when you clear the blockages, everything does return back to light because that's your energy. When you have spiritual blockages, those are the parts of yourself that you detached and you disassociated from. And so you've actually integrated the spiritual lesson. All right, I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated. What now I'm going to read. This is exactly where I'm at, and the scapegoat. Yeah, I've always made myself small and invisible, but now I realize it's, yeah, you have to. You have to. And usually it is growing up in a certain family where, the scapegoat is the one that is kind of taught to, dummy down, to, it makes the rest of the family feel better. They don't realize that they become the wounded healer. But in that, they can heal other people and make everyone else's life better. But which, by the way, people get very comfortable with. So they don't want you to heal. And that's what was in the story. It's like, I don't want you to heal because then I got to look at myself. Then I got to do the work. Then I have to feel the regret of how I wasn't in your life. So that is why it's such a profound story that played out today, because it's like, well, this is what I need to do to break the karmic cycles, which is I need to come from a better place of how I hold myself, how I present myself to other people is really was the main story, because even within your connection, you taught that person to not value you because almost too easygoing, too nice, too available, just too much. And when you don't create the resistance, people will not think about you one way or the other. They'll kind of take you for granted because, hey, well, you don't care either way. That's what you come across that way. So you're a little detached to create safety because it's like, hey, I've gotten hurt before. So if you really want to be, but people then read it like, well, you don't really want to be here anyway. So you don't really manifest anything. And then when all of a sudden you manifest, it's like it awakens everyone's, you know, demons, because now they have to look at you and then they compare themselves. And then this envy comes out and you're like, okay, I never get anything. What the hell? And so Spirit saying it's all about what do you believe you're worth? That's why your reading started with walk into the place like you own it. It's like it's time, because too many people perceive you as something that you're not, because hey, again, they don't value what's too easy, and what's too nice is what's too easy. Too accommodating, too nice, too where Spirit's saying again, no. It's like it's time. All right, I'm going to leave that there. If you resonated, give it a like, comment, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye bye.